Henry VIII was born here. This was the old Tudor castle. This is the Lord Nelson room. When Lord Nelson died, he disgraced his body. He put him on that table right there.
Wow.
So that's the Nelson.
No way.
Snacks are sitting on now. Well, it was 200 years ago, so
I mean, like all bloody or?
No, it's because he died on ships and they brought him over here.
From all the salt?
Yeah, all the salt. He's salty guy.
Can I go ahead and put this on you? Or you can? Or
yeah, I'll put it on.
Where
Where do you want it?
Wherever you want it.
Any way you want it. That's the way you want it.
Okay, I feel better. Thank you. I was telling him I was like really shy. I even wrote something on my hand, which I never do because I've met you like 5 times now and I'm still shy. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no worries. No worries. I'm a nice guy, I think.
I like that they set you in here though. It's nice and cozy.
Yeah, we have 2 rooms we're doing, so I'm tag teaming because there's a camera set up over there as well. We did one with Space Coin over there and Wired Magazine, and I did CNBC this morning, and then we've used this for about 4 interviews.
Did you choose this room for a reason?
No, I'm just tag teaming.
You were just excited they set you here.
Yeah. Well, it's cozy. We got the fireplace.
It's so warm.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll edit in a fire there. Only we will know it's fake.
Yeah.
No.
I like your tattoos.
Thank you so much. Got some kind of random weird ones.
Basic witch.
Yeah. It's a weird phase of my life.
The pagan phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have that one too?
Everybody had a pagan phase. It was Gnosticism for me.
Got my Cruella de Vil.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. They all tell a story, but that we're not here about me today. We're actually here about you.
Ah.
But I don't know why I'm nervous. I just don't. Like I was telling him, I think I've just in my head talked about it all day long. This was the main one.
Well, we'll have a lot of fun.
Okay.
All right. So, you want to do a mic check or?
It should be on. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Yeah, because I can see the light on yours. So, and nobody's in here to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not as worried.
I once did a 45-minute interview and they forgot to hit record. That was a great.
I hit the button. Thankfully, it was a speed round of just 3 questions.
Right.
For the hackathoners.
Right.
Just why midnight hackathon?
Well, first, what did you think of the event? Have you been having fun?
It's gorgeous. Coming from the U.S., I keep saying this, but we got like Lincoln's log cabin that burned down and was rebuilt. So we don't really have history.
No.
And so coming here and just seeing things that are like just older than what we know, where we live, like, and he's like, he doesn't appreciate it anymore because he lives here. So he's just like, yeah, I toured this back in the day. Like, looking at every image, like, no, not in the U.S. It's like,
yeah,
we go to petting farms and
we got untouched nature and a lot of land, and you guys got a lot of history. So it's kind of, it all mixes out in the wash. Right.
Okay.
They when for my 33rd birthday, they actually lit up the pyramids for my birthday. I was in Egypt. I got the picture right here. I went.
I know.
And like half of them are true too.
You missed the story of why he chose this place, though.
We did.
Yeah.
What was it?
Because it was the first place of currency trading, like the foundation of.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Well, I'm 34. Maybe for my 35th birthday, it'll do that for me.
There was like
That's beautiful. I want to go so bad. I've been told though, like, don't do it right now, especially as a.
And these are my bison from my ranch.
Oh my god. I actually have questions about your ranch.
You can ask anything you want.
Well, my very first question,
Well, first off, are we recording?
We are. I was really excited that we were having this conversation about everything. That I hope you're okay.
Okay.
I didn't record when we came in here. I was like, I want to hear about the history.
All right.
But I'll chop her up really nice. So that's a little ranch humor for you. But being a bear coochie, being an eagle hunter, I was thinking it would be a really cool idea to use that precision in eagle, train some eagles, and airdrop night all over Wyoming to everybody who needs it. But in all seriousness, having that eagle eye precision, what how has that precision helped you focus so much on the things that you've done in your career? You know, you've done a lot. You founded Cardano, Ethereum, IMKO. You've done a lot in your life. How has all of the lessons that you've learned from each of these businesses helped you and inspired you to start what you're doing today with Midnight?
Well, there's some inevitability to end up at something like Midnight. It's kind of the last major project that I think I'll do because it's the last needed project
Mm-hmm.
for the infrastructure in the space. I've been fortunate enough to be here for every generation of cryptocurrency, and I'm the one guy that never retired. I just keep going, and it must be like masochistic or something because it's so abusive to be in this space, and all my friends are either dead in jail or retired. The thing about it is the reason I entered the space is I was a refugee from the Ron Paul movement, and I was a political firebrand. And back then, we only cared about three things: we cared about choosing liberty, a humble foreign policy, and sound money. So what got me attracted to Bitcoin was this whole concept of digital gold. You know, the idea of sound money and a return to the gold standard. I didn't really conceive or realize at the time when I came in that also you could get the other two. And then as I grew up in the space and I learned more about the technology and built some of the technology, I realized that this is like the ultimate liberty preservation system, and by extension, will force a humble foreign policy peace to the world. So, my belief is you can rebuild all the economic, political, and social systems of the world onto a blockchain. The challenge is that you can't get it all instantly. You have to build it stage by stage. And so we had to go through the generations. We needed programmability, and then we needed scalability and interoperability, and we needed to have governance. And now we're at the last stage where you have privacy and selective disclosure and cooperative mechanisms. And so when we look to the fourth generation, what we're really trying to achieve here is to make things real.
Yeah.
You know, people ask like, why are all the big businesses not blockchain yet? It's been more than 15 years. They all have R&D groups. Like, why is Microsoft not on a blockchain? Why is IBM not on a blockchain? You know, why is ExxonMobil not on a blockchain? Well, they all tried, and the reason that they're not, or they're only peripherally on the system, is because they can't expose their customer data, their proprietary information, and comply with the law in a completely transparent, auditable, and open ledger. So then they say, well, we'll have to do something off chain. The challenge is the minute you do that, you re-invite in all of the problems of the centralized world. And so what we always wanted to do is say, can we build a framework that works for everyone everywhere, a layer two to everybody? So it doesn't matter if you're Ethereum or Bitcoin or Solana, it's neutral to all that. You can pay in any token you want, and then have a chat GPT like experience for privacy. You know, chat GPT, you don't have to build an AI system. It's an API. You just ask it and an answer comes back out, right? And it's magical. And so similarly, I don't want you to have to know anything about zero knowledge proofs or multi-party computation or trusted execution environments or homomorphic encryption or any of these other pet technologies to know how to do privacy. You just have a programming language like Compact. It's like JavaScript. It's easy to use, easy to reason about. It embeds in, and you extend your apps into it. So you extend Uniswap into it, you extend Avi into it. And that part has the privacy component, and you do the transparent component somewhere else. And by doing this, you make it very simple and easy for people to get their privacy back and be in the driver's seat about what they share, who they share it with. Then you can start talking about restoring integrity to institutions and into companies. You can talk about voting systems where you can check your own vote and you can check that the system hasn't been violated. You can talk about money systems where nobody knows how much you own and what you spend your money on. Because think about how crazy it is right now. Like everybody knows how much crypto you have. Everybody can see what you're spending your crypto on. You know, like that's dangerous for a lot of people. That's why there's so many kidnappings in our industry. You know, so you want a money system where you're in the driver's seat about what you share about these things. You want a compliance system that you only prove the minimum amount of information and you don't leave this digital exhaust where every time you interact with something, they know everything about you. They have your passport, they have your social security number, they have all this stuff. Because what if they get hacked, which always happens? You lose all that information, and then you get identity theft,
Yeah.
which is a $50 billion a year industry. So I want to put you in the driver's seat where you're in control of who knows what where. They know the minimum amount, and you get math-based guarantees that they don't know anymore.
Yeah, I like that. I really was sitting there during your presentation, and I was telling somebody earlier, I was like, I haven't been so inspired and moved by someone speaking in so long. And we're in this industry where people gloss things up so much, but you came in and you're like, how did I come up with midnight? I was drunk in a bar one night, like that. You don't hear those things. And I like how down to earth and real you are about those things, and like you said, like I think that choosing what data you share, like you're very open about Wyoming, which is a very smart choice, by the way. But you mentioned something earlier about patience, and it really got me thinking, like, what the type of patience you must have had through this entire journey. I know that everything that you've done and built hasn't gone smoothly, right? Like we talked
There's
about
books about that.
like they haven't. So like, one, how have you stayed sane in all of that? And two, what keeps you motivated to just keep going even when things get that hard?
Yeah. Well, the first thing you have to realize is crypto Twitter is not reality. If you start reading the comments and taking them as reality, you'll just go insane.
Yeah.
And what grounds me is watching people build things
Yeah.
and watching cool experiences and seeing what we can do. There's a lot of magic still in this space, and we get so obsessed with the price, and we get so obsessed with the day to day, and everybody gets so angry and cynical. And I say, look, in 15 years' time, we've gone from nothing to 500 million people, nothing to multi-trillion dollars, nothing to being able to teleport money value to anyone in the world instantaneously for no fee.
Yeah.
And there's no counterparty risk, and there's no central party involved. We've gone from nothing to crypto kitties. We've gone from nothing to these incredible dApps that do all these amazing things. So we're making forward progress.
Yeah.
As an industry. And the consequences of the success of the industry is we get our world back.
Yeah.
We get our society back. I don't want to live in a world where creepy weirdos who run Fortune 10 companies are basically able to determine my entire life experience from cradle to grave. They get to decide what goes in my body. They get to decide how rich I am. They get to decide what opinions I'm allowed to express. They get to decide who runs my country.
Yeah.
They get to decide my life, liberty, and property effectively. I don't want to live in that world. And so I would like to live in a world where I have some agency over these things, if not total control. And so blockchain is really the only system that I know of where not only is that a guarantee, there are strong incentives for the world to adopt it.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Charles Hoskinson being fucked up by his own government, it's UK being fucked up by the United States.
Right.
Or China.
Right.
So they used to be the top dog.
Yeah.
They used to run the whole planet. Now China mandates terms to them. The US mandates terms to them,
Yeah.
And so they'd like to get a little bit of their sovereignty back.
Yeah.
Switzerland would like to get some of its sovereignty back. When Obama showed up in 2009, and he's like, hey, those Swiss bank accounts, let's just open them up. I want to see who the tax evaders are.
Right.
They had two choices. If they said no, they would become a pariah, and the whole country would be cut off from the world economy.
Right.
And if they said yes, they'd end 300 years of secrecy.
Yeah.
And they had to say yes. They had no choice. So they would have rather not done that, but they had no choice because the big dog said do it.
Yeah.
So when you move it to the blockchain, then you have a digital commons where we can just get along and do things with each other. And the nation states play by the same rules as the people, play by the same rules as the poorest people.
Yeah.
There's never been a time in human history where the poorest person had the same system as the king.
Right.
Never. The king always got the good stuff.
Yeah.
The poor guy is eating like the table scraps. The king is eating the elk that he just hunted.
Yeah.
He's doing okay. There's this is where Henry VIII was born, so you can see that statue with his gout and everything. He was eating the good meat,
Yeah.
And here everybody eats the same meat, and there's never been a time in human history where that's been the case. So it motivates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because what else am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
Just sit on my ranch with my bison, just get angrier and angrier as I watch more and more of our liberties escape and disappear, and just the things we've endured over the last 25 years. There's been 12 years of Republicans, 12 years of Democrats, and 1 year, whatever the hell this thing is.
Yeah.
And the debt's gone from 4 trillion to 37 trillion. Global debt is $318 trillion. It's just an unfathomable number, unfathomable. And then, do you feel like it's more peaceful today than it was 20 years ago? Do you feel like things are running better today than it was 20 years ago? I mean, we went from dementia to demented.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Bunch
So,
of gobbledygook.
so everything is gobbledygook,
Yeah.
and so the only way it's ever going to get better is if we opt out of that system
Right.
into a new system. And how the hell can I say that unless I'm willing to actually put my time and effort and money into building that new system?
Yeah.
So every step of the way, we get better money. Every step of the way, we get better political systems. Every step of the way, we get new ways to collaborate with each other. And here's the other really cool part about it that's super special to me. You look at the pyramids in Egypt, those were built by about 50 to 100,000 people, depending upon how they were built, whether they were carved out of stone or poured as concrete, as geopolymer concrete.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at the Apollo program, that was 1 million people working together. What could you do if you had the ability to collaborate at scale 10 million people or 100 million people? Cryptocurrencies have 550 million people. That's 550 Apollo programs. So when you think about the scale of how many people are in the space and how they're incentivized to work together and solve problems, and how in Cardano, for example, we wrote a constitution and we have an on-chain government. Midnight, we built a privacy system. Obviously, Ethereum was a huge success. Every step of the way, we're learning, but all the outputs of that learning are open source.
Yeah.
They're not patent protected. They don't have intellectual property. They just go out there into the commons.
Yeah.
So if I build like the world's best exchange as a DEX, now everybody in the world has the world's best exchange. If I build the world's best voting system, now everybody in the world has the world's best voting system. It's really easy to get motivated when you have that mindset because you say, I'm leaving behind something that benefits 8 billion people instead of just me personally. And that's just magical.
So inspiring. Okay. I have my question in my head. Like it just takes you over when you talk. But, you mentioned a lot of good key points here, like the fact that how we should think and talk and look is shoved down our throats every single day. What we should be doing is shoved down our throats every single day. But you made a key point here of being how many people here on the blockchain and how we can work together. The problem is that we're so divided, right? Everybody is on either a different chain, taught how to think about certain projects or different ecosystems when, if we ended up coming together and solving something, like you said, was midnight and privacy, that we could build and do bigger and better things. But my question is, got nothing to do with that. My question is though, how do you I what I like to do is inspire people to build.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to build. I want people to know that you don't have to come from much to get an idea and start working on something. And I think that crypto has helped a lot of people kind of step out of that mindset of I can't do it. I don't know how to do this because I'm not a dev, or my idea is stupid, or this isn't big enough. So inspiring young builders or builders at any age, because I am a firm believer in you have that power and that mindset to change anytime you want, and then you can unlock that power and start working on things that you want to. So what piece of advice would you offer to somebody who's wanting to get out of that mindset and start building something that is the next big thing?
Well, I mean, like I have a lot of programmers that come to me and they say, "How do I get a job? I have this degree in computer science and nobody will hire me." I say, "All right, well, let me see your GitHub repo." I say, "What do you mean?" It's like being an artist and you're like, "Okay, I want to get a job as an artist." It's like, "All right, let me see your portfolio." It's like, "I don't have a portfolio." It's like, "What kind of fucking artist are you?" So I say, go build something, go contribute to something. If you want a job as a developer, go pick 2 3 open source projects that you're really interested in and start contributing to those projects. And lo and behold, not only are you going to get job offers, in many cases those projects will offer to hire you.
Right.
So it's a try before you buy. Everything in life is participatory. And unfortunately, with Gen Z and Gen Alpha in particular, there's been this inculcation of an expectation of things being delivered to you.
Yeah.
You have to earn it. You have to fire it up and ready to go. Just go and get it done. No one
Yeah.
gave me shit in the
Yeah.
cryptocurrency space. I wasn't allowed to be a Bitcoin core developer. I wasn't in that special club. Obviously things didn't work
They're
so
lost.
well in Ethereum. Things didn't work out so well with BitShares, but I was able to build Cardano, and I had to go raise the money. I had to go figure this stuff out, and I got it done. But every step of the way, it's just by saying, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that happens? They say no.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
they
you're in the
said
same
no.
spot.
I'm in
Yeah.
the exact same spot.
Yeah.
And then I learn a little bit along the way. I gain some job skills along the way. The stuff that works out is great. The stuff that doesn't work out, it's always teachable in some respect.
Yeah.
So do something, do move. Motion is life,
Yeah.
and produce some stuff and show the world who you are. Because while you do things, you show the world your character.
Yeah.
You show them your sense of humor. You show them how you think about things, how you dissect things, break them apart. The people that I have the most respect for are people that can't wait to show you something they've created.
Yeah.
And it can be a small thing, it can be a huge thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. It's immaterial. And sometimes it works out, and other times it doesn't.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. Even in your failures, you have something you can salvage, you
Yeah.
can show and say,
Yeah.
this experiment failed. Well, the very fact you're able to conduct that experiment and do it well with a lot of methodology and thought is something that is special to me. It shows me
Yeah.
a real person. And if more people adopt that mindset, then not only are they more employable, in many cases, you can actually change the world. You can build something really fun and exciting.
Yeah. Instead of looking at it like a failure,
Yeah.
that wall broke down, but that support wasn't ready for the amount of things that I went ahead and put on top of it.
Yeah.
So let me raffle that up, see what I can salvage, and start building again on top of it and make it even stronger.
Yeah.
Charles, this conversation has been amazing. And I wasn't going to do it, but I really enjoy your timeline and I love that you post Freya. I'll be having the worst day and I just see Freya on the timeline. So I wanted to say thank you for posting that. But my very, very last question was actually thanks to Lonzo. And his question was, what's a question that somebody hasn't asked you today, but you were hoping they would ask you?
I get asked that question from time to time. It's a pretty good question. Um, I was hoping that somebody would ask me a little bit about the value of folding systems. Because we're talking to so many engineers and it's a very dev-oriented conference.
Yeah.
I don't think people really understand the consequences of when you combine Minotaur and you combine a folding system together.
Yeah.
Because what you're really doing, under the nutshell, is you're creating a system that directly observes multiple blockchains at the same time and is then able to concisely prove properties of those blockchains. So what does that translate to? You basically have a full node on a cell phone everywhere for every cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So it means you preserve the most important property that Satoshi Nakamoto was talking about. It's this concept of inclusive accountability. The problem with blockchains is that for them to work the way Satoshi wanted them to work, like everybody's got to have everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to be a full node, or else you have to trust somebody. Well, if you have the ability to observe chains, generate a folded proof, and share that, then that means you can have a very tiny piece of information on your cell phone and have the same provability as if you had a full node in that system.
Yeah.
So that really finishes off Satoshi's vision for everybody, all the chains that participate, because now he can send me money from Avalanche, or you can send me money from Bitcoin, or I can send you money from Cardano. And when you get it on your phone, you don't have to trust some third party. Is it real or not? You can just get the proof on the wire and it's there. So that's something that very few people really think about, but I think about every single day because I'm always asking the question, how do I make this work for 1 billion people?
Yeah.
How do I make this scale? How do I make this grow? And what are the core tenets of blockchain? I believe in decentralization. I believe in inclusive accountability. Your ability to verify what I say is true, not my ability to convince you, but your ability to convince yourself through some source of evidence and truth that's usually mathematically derived.
Yeah.
The resilience of the system. So if somebody attacks the system, can you take it down or not? And then also the provability about underlying cryptographic assumptions. Like I say it's private. How do you really know?
Right.
How do you know there's not a backdoor? These types of things. How do I prove that? In what rigorous way? So I've been asked a lot of questions, but I've noticed that a lot of people are very comfortable with taking some of these answers for granted.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping for a little bit more technical scrutiny. And I was like, how, okay, you say you got this thing, like, how does it actually work? And because some of the people here really have the academic chops to bust my balls on that.
Oh.
And so I was expecting that, but I'm an open book, and I love the conversation. I love the engagement, and I enjoy, sharing my life with people. Sometimes it's worked to my detriment, like you shared on Twitter, and then people hold it against you. Like I've traveled 75 countries in the last 10 years, and almost exclusively for work. But then if a person doesn't like me, they say, "Oh, he's just been on vacation for 10 years."
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really feel like a vacation, you fucking piece of shit. But they say it, and so that's one thing I hope we can figure out as an industry is like the third pillar of the fourth generation is cooperation.
Yeah.
How do we work together? We have to get out of this mindset of perpetual the other, perpetual lack of benefit of the doubt, the perpetual worst impossible interpretation. There's like this chronic ailment in our society where for any event, people give you the least generous interpretation of that. It's like that Simpsons episode. I always go back to the Simpsons because it's my generation.
It's just like
Yeah, there's like that Simpsons
prediction.
episode where like Homer's accused of sexual harassment, and he's like on live television with Kent Brockman, and he takes the cat outside, and they're like, he possibly molested the cat. It's like it's the worst possible interpretation of every possible thing about him because he's like the persona non grata, and that's where our society's at, and we just get so comfortable saying, well, this person's the other, he's the enemy. So every single thing this person believes must be wrong. Every single thing he does must be evil or self-centered or self-interested. And I just wish people would break out of that.
Yeah.
It's totally okay for people that you don't like to do great things. It's totally okay for people that you disagree with to have good ideas from time to time. And my hope is that when we get to that cooperative equilibria, we start working together as an industry and we realize that if we all cooperate, we can have 550 Apollo programs every year that we do. Think about how that could change the world.
I'm gonna go home and like nonstop think about this in bed and be Googling it and go down the rabbit hole late at night along with the rest of the things I think about. Um, Charles, thank you so much for the time and the conversation. I wish I had more technical questions for you. I wrote them all down. I
No,
actually
it's
had
all
that
right.
one written down. I'm not kidding in my notebook over there. It's all scribbled up, but I was like, I want it to just flow, and I get nervous and then want to go with the conversation. And oh, I'm already being summoned, but really, it really was
Thank you so
electrifying
much.
to meet you.
Cheers.
So have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. There you go.
Thank you.